5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, welcome to another installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. Up this week, we've got 3 games. First is, probably going to mispronounce this, because it's Indian, it's Hindi, it's Sanskrit. Quest of Vidhuraa. I'm like... So, apparently this is based off of a Hindu story that I admittedly don't know a whole bunch about. Like, there's a pretty elaborate backstory about Vidhuraa here and his origins, and it's like it's seriously a paragraph of dialogue talking about his backstory and what he had to do, and
though it's ultimately a pretty standard.
Yeah,
guy is fortune told to become a hero. The king gets mad about that because he wants his son to be the next king. So he tries to have the guy killed, but it doesn't work. And then later on, he wants to go save his parents because the king took them prisoner.
Yeah, you're not gonna remember this. This story does appear in the beginning cinematics, but it doesn't matter. Like, what you got here is, like, if you don't see the footage, is a Super Meat Boy styled platformer, only not good.
Oh god, no, it's...
Yeah, the controls look kind of slippery.
I hope you like fixed jump arc.
Oh, that's not good for a Meat Boy.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm like, this game is pretty terrible about that.
Like, yeah, it's a crapshoot whether or not you actually make your jump.
Yeah, it's wildly inconsistent, and yeah, it's not like it's also based off of momentum. Like, you'll notice the character Vidhuraa, he runs forward. He actually tilts, and that actually factors in your whole jumping mechanic. Yeah, I'm like, and it's something you have to try to master in order to get through the game. That being said, for as difficult as this game purports to be, like, it's pretty upfront that it's, a difficult platformer in the style of, they don't say Super Meat Boy, but you can tell this is from, Ape and Super Meat Boy. It's not all that hard. Not compared to what, like Super Meat Boy, or, if you want to get into the ultra masochistic platformers like 1001 Spikes, or, I Want to Be the Guy.
Yeah, and at least those had good tight controls.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. It looks like the difficulty in this is less from really demanding level design and more from having a hard time making your dude do what you want him to do.
Yeah, it's not good challenge.
Yeah.
Like, the truth of the matter here, the level design is pretty basic. In fact, basic is pretty much what I described the aesthetic as. Like, your character's, he's distinct, but he's literally a triangle man.
Yeah.
Like,
Does he do the things a triangle can?
I'm like,
sure.
Look,
no.
Triangle Man didn't actually get a verse in the song I'm improvising.
I'm like, anyway, and you can see, like, all the obstacles he faces against are not really thematically appropriate to his backstory or anything. Like we've got generic buzz saws.
Yeah.
Yeah, generic background. Just generic spikes. Generic anything, anything and everything. In fact, if this, I'm not sure if it's the case, but I'm pretty sure this is all pre-bought assets, put stitched together. Maybe not an asset flip as such, but it's, it definitely feels manufactured rather than crafted, and not manufactured all that well. That being said, I still think it's better than the other Super Meat Boy ripoff we reviewed this year in Alteric, because for all this game's faults, it at least understood that a fast, quick flow is essential. Like, you can see you die, you get back up, and
you at least die and respawn fast.
And you move fast. It's, it got that down. Whereas Alteric, decided to try this kind of gameplay with methodical pacing. These are two games types that don't work together. Full stop. So I can at least say it got that right. Everything else, not so much. I'm like, I'll be honest, I stopped playing this game more out of boredom than frustration, which probably isn't a good sign for a masochistic platformer. Like, everything just looks the same, and the escalation unimpressive. Like, I think I got to level 16 before stopping, and from what I've seen, there are at least 2 sets of levels. There's possibly more.
They on the store page they did promise more DLC levels coming free.
Not a surprise. It's just, this game wasn't all that compelling to go through and continue, like and to see what's next, because, well, what's next looks like what came before. Like, the levels don't have any variance. Almost. Like, they do introduce some things, like later levels will have mushrooms, which, once again, don't really have anything to do with anything. Like, seriously, what do buzzsaws have to do with Vidhuraa's story here?
Or, for that matter, forests and deserts.
Right. So, the music is there.
It's music, all right.
Like, it's all right, if a bit cloying and repetitious. You can turn it off. There's more than one track, but there's there's too few tracks, I think, for this game. And it also plays Calliope style, so if it gets stuck in your head, it's just through the sheer force of repetition rather than it actually being catchy music. Like, let's see, Petty Fan, you got any additional thoughts since you're currently suffering through the pain?
The problem with doing this kind of game is you need to have at least decent controls. These are not decent.
No, they're not. Like, and for a game like this, that's kind of the make or break point. And yeah, that's a break here.
Yeah, because like with Meat Boy, at least you could you had control. This you don't.
Yeah, it's kind of literally based off of you don't have full control of your character.
Yeah, like that's like, to me, that's kind of like one of the worst types of hard platformer.
And so we get to pricing. The game is $4. I mean, I guess in a vacuum, that looks like a fair amount of price given what's on display here.
Yeah, it's a fair price insofar as you want to play it at all.
Yeah, it's just, overall recommendations aren't forthcoming here because I don't think the game is worth any price. Just given what's here, $4 is about right. Maybe 3.2. that kind of range, fine. It's just, yeah, this is not good. This isn't good. There's no other way to put it without, getting mean. We do try to avoid that here.
Mm-hmm.
But, it is also our jobs to call bad games, and this is a bad game. How bad? I'd say about a 4. You know, as I said,
And I mean, it suffers from basically directly comparing itself to Super Meat Boy, which is,
yeah, among other games.
Yeah, and
But
honestly, this is my first experience with this type of genre. I don't think I'd ever go back. Like at least me personally.
understandable. But once again, I still think it's better than the glacial geometry game we had to review not too long ago. Like I still can't get over the fact that someone thought that slow pacing and Super Meat Boy were a good combination. This one just tried to introduce hard geometry and hard angles, and kind of a very prototypical physics set. It's like, you have to use momentum and velocity to jump properly, and that doesn't work, especially when you're on very short platforms, which do happen. So, yeah, all in all, this is this is a pretty bad game. Maybe not among the worst we've reviewed this year, but I suppose that'll come up for assessment, when we do the year-end awards. Overall, give this game a hard pass. Petty fan? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'm basically with your camp on this one. Just pass on it. There are far better games for, near this price point or lower, even in this genre.
Yep.
For those keeping score at home, I believe it's pronounced Vidhuraa. The middle consonant is a retroflex plosive, which is not a sound that's in English, but it's sort of like a the.
I'll take your word for that. So on that note, we'll conclude this review broadcast. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we've got Starting the Game. This is going to be an interesting game to talk about, because it's kind of not a game. I've been kind of beating around the bush about it, but to really talk about it is kind of to spoil what it is. And yeah, we're gonna have to put up some spoiler warnings about that, because I will say at this stage it's a game that you should experience at the very least. But more on that in its own review. Until then, good gaming and such.